Imagine, if you will, Twilight Zone style with me real quick. You're out driving late at night or midday, whatever the fuck. I don't really care. You do what you want to do. You're listening to your favorite song, one of your favorite songs, blasting it, and driving. You're all super hyped. Then the apex of the song comes when that super crazy guitar solo happens, or that riff that you really like, and all you can think about is just how crazy and cool it's going to be when you can play that thing. When you're out on stage in front of thousands of faceless people just enamored by your skill, or in front of friends and family as they all think you're the coolest shit that ever came to be. And you get that fire under you in that moment to go home and start practicing whatever that thing is. You find a video of some guy with tabs playing it, and you sit down, and then you start to sweat a little bit and realize, oh shit, maybe this is a little too advanced for my skill. Yeah, it's going way too fast. Just all these notes, I can't keep up. I don't know how to read this. It's too much. You get overwhelmed and bored, and you turn off the video, and then you put the guitar back down after noodling some other riffs that you've been playing for the past 3 months. And a week passes, a month passes, a year passes, 5 years passes. Now you have a wife and kids, and now you give up on your dreams of ever playing that thing that you think would be really cool and it would be really satisfying and fulfilling to do. And you put the guitar up on the wall and think to yourself, well, maybe it's okay that it's just a dream. I got kids and a family and a respectable living and a house. I got everything I need. That solo doesn't mean shit. It's okay. I can put that guitar up on the wall.
Fuck no, babe. I'm here to tell you that you can play it. This is a video game blanket, that's a blue dragon, and that's a Minecraft poster. It's called class, and it's called personality. Get some, bitch. So let's start off by asking, what the hell happened in that theoretical that you've definitely not experienced ever in real life? What was the problem? What kept you from learning that solo, or that piece, or whatever it is for you? What was holding you back? Many would say, oh, I don't have the skill. I can't do that technical shit. I can't go that fast. Sure, these are all kind of valid things to say. They're all bullshit. It's all bullshit. You can play it. You might be thinking, well, no, I can't play it. I can't do it. I can't go that fast. It's not going to happen. Let me tell you something I realized a couple weeks ago that pretty much changed everything and made me realize that I can play anything I want to. Nothing can stop me anymore. Just from a little switch in the mindset. You want to know what that is? I'm going to tell you, but first I got to preface to the fact that you're going to think it's stupid, you're going to want to ignore this, you're going to roll your eyes and go, oh great, just another useless fucking video that I'm not going to learn, and then I'm going to go queue up the next one, and just waste the whole night watching videos instead of actually fucking practicing. Just hear me out, and think about this for a second. Here it goes. You can play anything on guitar, no matter how fast or technical, as long as you play it slow enough. Did your mind just exploded? It better have, or else you weren't paying attention enough to realize how fucking insane and important that is to know. It's crazy. You don't really realize it until someone says it, or until you just happen to figure it out by yourself. But it's true. No matter how crazy that solo you want to play is, you can already play it, as long as you play it slow enough. And this is what I truly believe creates that whole idea that you see on every ad ever about guitar playing. That's like, the intermediate plateau. I think this is where it comes from. The intermediate plateau and the people that surpass it versus the people that don't is separated by this one idea of someone that is willing to play something so fucking slow that it makes them look like a caveman and an idiot. But that slowness, that's what's gonna get you past that plateau, past that point of most people can't do this shit, or one of those guys that can play Enter Sandman, like the main riff, not even the solo, and that's about it. The thing that gets you past that point is playing something so damn slow that you have no choice but to play correctly, and then you slowly increase the speed as you get used to every new speed. And then you rack it up, and then you rack it up, and you rack it up, and then eventually you're going really fast. Wow, isn't that crazy? That's an amazing thought, isn't it? Why don't you play to a click track? Just a question. You know you should, but you don't. What's the point of the click track? The reason people play with a click track is because you can change the speed of that click track. And when you're practicing something, you can play it slower and then control how fast you're playing it. So when you play it slower, you can focus more on technique. You have the breathing room to see that, where you're hitting false notes, where the extra string noise you don't want it's coming from. You figure all that out when it's super slow and easy to play, then you slowly creep up that speed. Implement good technique from when it was super slow, that's all you had to focus on. Implement that technique as you get faster and faster, and you can learn anything you want. But here's the problem. A lot of people start wanting to learn something. They see some crazy sweep picking solo or whatever, and they think, okay, yeah, I mean, that's really cool, but I don't know how to sweep pick. That's a really clever excuse your brain just gave you to not learn that solo. You want to know why? How do you learn how to sweep pick? You learn a sweep picking pattern. You start really slow, of course, but then you slowly ramp it up, and you ramp it up a little bit, and you ramp it up a little bit. And you've been wanting to learn how to sweep pick for like a year by this point. But you're like, I need to purchase some guy's course to try and like find a nice sweep picking exercise pattern, and then I can start trying to work towards that. You want to know where you can find a really good sweep picking pattern to practice? In that solo you say you can't learn? You take a sweeping pattern from that fucking solo, you slow it down a shit ton, you practice it, you practice it, you practice it. Two things have just happened. You've learned how to sweep pick, and you've already learned part of that song that you said you couldn't learn. Do you see how stupid this is now? Do you see how stupid people are so fucking stupid? You are so easily molded by fear. The brain of a fucking squirrel up there. A little dinosaur poop brain. A little turd. Like a baby. But like, babies don't know how to walk. How do they learn how to walk? They start walking. How do you learn Nobody by Avenged Sevenfold? You fucking start playing and learn. Here's the thing. This is what this sounds like. This is what your excuses sound like. Imagine you wanted to learn how to make sushi. That kind of sounded southern. Hold on. Imagine if you wanted to make sushi. You look at that and you go, holy shit, that looks great. I want to learn how to make that. That'd be awesome. Imagine if I could just have that in the house all the time. That'd be great. Okay, but I only know how to make a ham sandwich. That looks way above my level. I'm not ready for that yet. You know, sushi's got like rice and vegetables and stuff. You know what? I'm going to start by making like just a nice vegetable stir fry thing. We'll start with that. Maybe then I'll be ready to tackle this sushi. Huh? Brother, you learn how to make sushi by trying to make sushi and fucking it up like 50 million times. And then guess what? You can make sushi. You can make it faster. You can make it better. You don't gotta make stir fry, dude. You can just make sushi if you want to make sushi. You can just learn that solo if you just want to play that solo. If you're missing techniques from that solo to be able to play it, you know how you learn those techniques? By playing that solo so slow that you can learn those techniques. By making it a practice routine. They're like these little, it's, the whole solo itself is just all these, just an insane amount of practice routines and things you would need to be able to learn those techniques in the first place. This thing that you want to learn, that's your ticket to learning it. That's the ticket to learning all the skills that you want to learn. Is just in that itself. You don't need to go find all these different practice routines and all these different fucking patterns and shit. It's all right there. But now that your mind's eye is open to this, how do we go about it?
Apologies for constantly changing the camera on you, but I have a hard time saying everything correctly the first time around, so I have to record multiple times in different locations. So, let's go to the computer. I'll show you how the fuck to actually do this.
I don't wanna be me. I don't wanna be me anymore.
Alright, so I'm done yelling at you now. Apologies for that, but you need to hear it. Now I'm just going to show you the actual logistics of how you go about learning the thing that's too scary to learn. So, first things first, obviously you're going to need to find where the actual notes are. You're going to need to figure out what the notes are you're going to need to learn. Obviously, I always prefer learning something by ear, but if it is really fucking fast and you're just not going to be able to do it if you don't have every scale and every mode memorized, it's who fucking cares if you need some tabs? You're just trying to learn. You're trying to learn the fucking solo. Who gives a shit? Who gives whatever. Who cares what random online guitar teacher says? Fuck them. You want to learn the solo? Just learn the solo. Find some tabs. YouTube. You can find endless tabs and tutorials on how to play things in broken up in the segments of whatever solo or riff. There's so much out there you can find. If it's still too fast just with the tabs flying by, if it's a really fast solo, I'd recommend just putting it at 50% speed, the playback of the video. You'll probably be able to pick up most things that way. The audio will sound like shit, but you gotta make some sacrifices sometimes if you want to get what you want to get. But That's always easy. If just someone playing with the tabs on isn't quick enough, or it just is too quick, or like you can't follow along. Usually, depending on how well known that song is, you will find people like breaking down note by note how to play those parts. Again, there's plenty of resources online. I'm just stating that that's a thing that you can use. If you're looking at something that's kind of crazy, or there's a lot of notes happening, whatever, I would totally recommend looking at multiple sources. Whether that's tabs on a website, and then you look at a couple videos on YouTube, and then maybe you check, like, I have this thing called Guitar Pro 8. They make like a songbook where they just take a lot of popular rock and metal songs and they tab it out, music sheet and everything. Just like all the notes and all the riffs and stuff. I'm not sponsored or anything. This is just a cool thing that I use. But if we go to this, there's like a super crazy part in this solo that's super fast, and like nobody really knows what the guy was doing, but a lot of people have really good guesses. I could tell just by double checking a couple different sources and a couple different videos online that this, even though this is like a paid thing, you would just usually see it as gospel because it's like, a company that made it. It's still incorrect. This is just kind of fucked. But again, just check multiple sources. From there, depending on the thing you're trying to learn, whether it is a riff or a solo, once you find a good reference for finding what the notes are and how to play what notes correctly, take it segment by segment. So learn maybe like a segment or two, get those down, and then just spend the next couple of days just focusing on that segment. Don't go forward trying to learn anything else. Just you don't want to overwhelm yourself at first trying to learn everything all at once. It's not going to help at all. Once you have a couple segments memorized so you don't have to constantly stare at the tabs, first step for, I'd say probably like a half an hour when you're first doing this, is go through those segments and play them as slow as humanly possible. As I was saying when I was yelling at you before. You're going to do that. Then once you kind of get it down where you can play all the notes without a shit ton of, extra noise and all that extra stuff, what you're going to do is go to Google. I don't know why I said that super loud, but whatever. Just look up metronome, just straight up metronome, and Google has a metronome right here. I would say once you have the notes memorized and you spend about a half an hour playing everything as slow as humanly possible without a click track, just focusing on technique, then I would probably find something probably half the speed of the original speed of whatever you're playing at least to start, and then practice that. You're going to hopefully be in a spot or try and find a spot, a BPM range, where you're able to play most of the notes, but there's a couple spots where you're noticing main pain points, like that one spot where your finger's not landing correctly, there's too much noise. You're going to find out where those spots are by going just a little faster than you are comfortable playing at 100% accuracy. Once you find that, just pick a BPM, just make a guess, and then try and play to it. If it's way too much, if it's crazy, go down a bit. If you can handle it and there's just a couple little spots that you need some improvement, stay there. And then for a practice session, you play slow again. Next one, you go up 5. Next one, you go up 5. And you go, fuck, I can play faster than that. And then you skip up to 20 or 30 faster than you think you can. Always challenging yourself every once in a while, pushing your limits. That's a really good way to improve, and that's going to help tremendously. But don't always just sit at a high BPM and just play shitty and cramp your hands up and just fuck yourself over. It's not worth it. Just do it a couple times every once in a while, just like a little challenge and a little experiment just to see how you're improving. And the easiest way to keep yourself consistent with this is by tracking things. I just take a Google spreadsheet and just write down these couple things here. I write down the date, obviously what day I'm doing it, the tempo that I'm working on at that day. I don't know why I didn't put the tempo down on these. I stopped it. Don't do that. Keep your tempo here. You'll see that sometimes I play at multiple tempos. Like this, I was testing myself at these two, but mainly staying at 125. Some days I was at this one. Some days I went down a little bit. Some days I practiced up a little bit. You just gotta, it's more a feel thing. What part? This part, I know it's very general, but no one else is using this besides you. So use whatever language is gonna help convey to yourself which part you're practicing. Because again, nobody else needs to understand what any of this means. It's just for you. Whatever language is gonna help you remember what you're doing, use it. You know yourself better than anybody else. And then time spent. This one is key to consistent practice and actually doing things efficiently and well in your practice. What I would do with this time spent, I would set a time, look at the day you have, look at how much time you have that you're willing to practice with. When you start your practice routine of playing the part that you're working on, open up, Windows just has like a clock function. So you can just go to a timer. And then let's say I know today I have an hour to practice. When I sit down and just as I'm starting to practice, I just hit this. And I know that I'm going to sit here and practice and not think about the time, not think about how long it's been since I started practicing. Just keep going. And then that timer will go off in an hour. And then I know I've practiced for an hour. So there's no confusion. There's no thinking, oh, it feels like I practiced for 20 minutes today, even though it's only been 5 minutes. This thing will humble you in knowing what it feels, what an hour truly feels like to practice. I'll put this in here just so you can copy it so you don't have to do any of the work. There's no like fucking email you have to sign up for. I'll put this as like a thing you can just make a copy of, and then keep this for whatever thing you're working on. But that's about everything. Hope that helps. Bye.